Hello, my audience. My name is Jake Allen Graham. I'm making a video on... I really forgot just now. Fuck. I'm going to have to think of a different idea. I think I can think of... Or unless I can remember what I was going to do. Oh, I think I know what I'm talking about. It's Spider-Man related. I just can't remember which Spider-Man movie it was. I think I'm having trouble remembering which one, so I'm going to review the first Doctor Strange movie from 2016. You know the Doctor Strange movie? What was good about it was, and what I didn't like about it, well, the effects were good about it, wasn't decent enough. Although the colors could have been better for the color grading choices they went with for the first Doctor Strange movie. It should have been, it looks gray. A lot of the shots, when they're, a lot of the time they use for this movie, uses gray a lot for all of the color shots. Was the color grading to use gray for pretty much every shot. That you have to put that gray right in there every shot, and it made the movie look a little visually dull to me. It kind of dampened the mood a bit. The color choices I didn't care for because the color gray is just, I don't know, it's not working for me. The too much, like the gray choice for Doctor Strange, and it's supposed to be a fantasy movie. It just doesn't work for me, okay? It's like also the weird part of it is the kind of gray where they didn't really look like they finished the visuals of the color grading, like, you know, because the movies doesn't hit, like, looks like it has like great lighting, but that's probably because the color grading is like kind of ruining the lighting and everything, the visuals. Because like this movie is like gray in every shot, was the color grading scheme goes for visually, and I hate to be a bummer, but this movie, well, it's one of those movies where the more of the movie is the pros of the movie is more the visuals than the story itself. Because the story itself feels incredibly rushed. Like Daredevil's 2003 rushed. The theatrical cut. It feels, in the movie feels like that rushed. Like 2003's theatrical cut, PG-13 cut of Daredevil, with Ben Affleck starring as Daredevil. Now, I love that movie, Daredevil, but that's kind of a problem with the movie, I thought. It did feel rushed, even though I did love that movie. For me, that movie's a 10 out of 10, that 2003 Daredevil movie. Now, I know that movie used the red color a lot, the color red with the color grading choice, but, you know, it was, I thought, you know, kind of made, it kind of made the colors on Daredevil's costume pop more, I thought. Was the color red on the color grading was in the movie. Like, it kind of helped, like, you know, his costume stand out more when his red costume on screen. So I didn't thought it was a, you know, bad choice of color grading. Like a lot of this movie has red color choices in this movie. Daredevil 2003 was the color grading. He likes to use the red a lot in the movie, visually, for the colors. And enough on that movie. I'm supposed to be talking about this Doctor Strange movie. The Doctor Strange movie is, well, considering that this is the best Doctor Strange is going to be in the MCU canon timeline within the 616 adaptation universe, and that this is the only time he's going to be the Sorcerer Supreme before he gets snapped away, and after, and then to the events of Endgame, he gets depromoted from being Sorcerer Supreme and doesn't get back ever again. Still hasn't gotten it back. So what's fucking stupid about that is that the Doctor Strange 2, the multiverse within the MCU timeline, says that Doctor Strange has the title of Sorcerer Supreme in every universe, except for the sacred 616 universe that's titled 616. So it's almost like the sequel hates Strange. It feels like. Or maybe Spider-Man writers hate Strange because they're the ones that decide to make that thing a thing within the MCU and saying that he's no longer the Sorcerer Supreme because he got blipped away. Now it's Wong. Wong. Fuck Wong. Wong sucks. He was fine in the first Doctor Strange movie, but that's probably because he wasn't a. That's good because he had the least amount of screen. He had the bare minimum screen time in the first Doctor Strange movie, and he wasn't treated like a main character or really that relevant of a important character in the first Doctor Strange movie 2016. But then somewhere along after Endgame, when we seeing him came back after the events of Infinity War, and God help me, we shouldn't have saw him come back after the events of Infinity War and Endgame. Because once he came back in No Way Home, Spider-Man 3, Tom Holland's Spider-Man 3, he became a main character, a supporting character of Marvel Studios universe, instead of a side character or a joke throwaway character like Darcy is, and has stayed a joke character, thank God. Or, you know, they didn't decide to make her a main character in Marvel for Marvel like they did with Natalie Portman, instead of just like throwing her away and making her thing of the past like Ragnarok was going to establish already. But then Thor 4, directed by Taika Waititi, decided he wanted to bring Natalie Portman back. So why? To make her the other Thor from the comics, the female Thor, I'll call her. The knockoff Thor. Because she isn't the original Thor from the comics, not the original Thor from the comics, because the original Thor in the comics in the 616 universe is a guy. So And Natalie Portman's CGI costume was shit looking. It looked unfinished, the CGI helmet that she constantly had to wear throughout the movie. It's like, why didn't she just not wear it at all? Like Chris Hemsworth didn't have to wear his helmet at all majority of the time. In any of the 4 movies of Thor, when he's the main character. It just doesn't make sense for this world's logic. Where's the using the rights of these characters, world building wise? And I'm sorry, why not just make the helmet actually make the helmet if you're going to have to constantly wear the helmet? And you couldn't even make the helmet look like a finished CGI effect in the 4th Thor movie. What happened to the movie's budget? What, did they lose their... What happened? Was they running out of money to finish the effects? What happened? Whose fault was this? A lot of the effects just didn't look finished within the movie of Thor 4. I mean, they didn't look finished in Thor 3 either, but they look a hell of a lot better compared to the last Thor movie, Thor 4, Love and Thunder. It seems like since 2017, Marvel has had trouble with finishing their effects on time for their movies. Besides just picking the right color scheme choices for their movies to make them look like comic book movies. Instead of just having every color be one color, gray. Ugh. So often. Ugh. But not in gray, like, but gray, it's like, it doesn't look, it looks wrong so often, you know? And the Doctor Strange movie is one of these movies, 2016's Doctor Strange. I'm sorry, but I like the colors in the sequel, the color choice is better than the Sam Raimi sequel, Doctor Strange, movies, Doctor Strange 2. That movie wasn't as good as the first one, but visually it was better than the first one, but probably because the color choices were better. Like, the color choices were better, but on the end, the CGI didn't look as finished as the first one looked. So, the effects didn't look as finished, probably wasn't as finished. I don't know. I mean, the effects still look kind of, dated, because saying we looked somewhere on par with 2016's Doctor Strange effects when it came out like several years after the first one. Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness title as, and the title is Multiverse of Madness, sequel to Doctor Strange. And I realize I've kind of talked about both Doctor Strange 1 and 2 in the same video. So I kind of reviewed both of them. So I want to like this movie more than I did both the first and the sequel to Doctor Strange. But I didn't. I give it a 7 out of 10. Both 1 and 2 of Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness and Doctor Strange, and the 2016 one, and the sequel Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness, I give a 7 out of 10. Besides Doctor Strange from 2016, I give a 7 out of 10 for above average. Was a bit of a letdown, but it wasn't terrible. It just wasn't special on anything, even for being so bad it's good level. It wasn't even that special in a quality way or in the way that McGibbs is so bad is it's not like a good. It wasn't really a special good movie, but it wasn't even a special bad movie. Even that was fun to laughable. That was laughable. You know, like kind of like the first Avenger movie was Marvel Studios did, or the sequel Age of Ultron, which is why I gave it a 10 out of 10 in the first place. The first two Avengers movies. You can say that this Doctor Strange movie is on par with Avengers Infinity War and Endgame, or the first two Spider-Man movies that Maguire made, including the 2.1 cut for Spider-Man 2 from 2004. Or you could say it's as good as Batman and Robin from 1997, flick starring George Clooney and Chris O'Donnell as Batman and Robin, the dynamic duo, key crusaders of Gotham City. That's what I feel about Doctor Strange 2016 and 2. Doctor Strange 2, the Sorcerer Supreme sequel called Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. Oh, I'm sorry, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Get it? He's in it. He's in the multiverse. It's funny as a gag. That's funny. Open up with a joke at the title. Let the audience know what they're really in for. A joke of a movie. Funny. Very funny. Visually, this movie's kind of a mixed bag as well as the writing. So the visuals are a bit of a letdown because, you know, the... Like, I need to, like, get the visuals before releasing the movie. Some thought it was a good idea to let the movie release before letting the visuals and the creators cook to finish their products. I bet it was Kevin Feige that pushed both movies out of time before finishing them and letting them be finished. That's probably why it looks like so modern, like crap visually, and why it looks dated as fuck. More than 2007's visuals from Spider-Man 3. And remember when those visuals came out, those visuals were cool for the time? Well, I couldn't say the same speed for 2008 Iron Man or any of the installments within the MCU's sacred 616 universe by Marvel Studios. Where's their CGI at least? And their color grading choices, like, ugh, gray, ugh. That's disgusting. It's like vomit gray on... It's the kind of gray that I vomit on when I'm outside my porch, my back porch. One time when I vomited on the... I remember I vomited up on the cement one time. And it was like gray like that, gray. Before I vomit. On the cement. It's what the color grading is. It is the majority of the time. And what's the gray? Gray it is. Cement gray. Concrete. You know, cement gray. You know, cement gray is what I threw up on. And some, not cement, you know, dry cement I threw up on. You know, the road. Like over the road I don't remember why I threw up, but I remember I threw up on the road, on roads before. And that's the kind of gray that Marvel's color grading choice they bring to their cinematic appearance since after phase 2 kind of wrapped up. I mean, since after Phase 1 wrapped up and entering Phase 2 sometime during Phase 2 and going into Phase 3 and after Phase 1 wrapped up was the first Avengers movie. And so it's like so that's my problem with the 2002's Doctor Strange movie from 2016. And the sequel, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, is why I'm giving both of them a 7 out of 10 for above average. God, they were letdowns. But they weren't terrible. They just can't all be winners. Some have to be losers. Some have to be lame. Or a mixed bag, you know? This movie's a mixed bag. I give these movies 7 out of 10s. Doctor Strange and Doctor Strange 2. Goodbye, subscribe, see you in the next video, and hit the thumbs up to like this video. Feel free to comment below, hit the like button to like this video, and hit the subscribe button to grow my subscribers, my audience. Goodbye.